Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of 𝗥𝗵𝗲 Show. Thank you for always tuning in. 80% is showing up, and we appreciate you. Today, the conversation, Ria, my co-host, is going to take over the conversation. But before I do bring her on, I want to introduce myself. My name is 𝗥𝗵𝗲.
My name is Ria.
And welcome to
Our
show. Okay, Ria, pass the mic to you.
Thank you, 𝗥𝗵𝗲. And today's topic is a continuation from the book of 𝗦𝗵𝗵cie, Increase Our Financial IQ. And today's topic is entitled Arguing with an Idiot. So let me share my screen. So today's topic is Arguing with an Idiot from the book of 𝗦𝗵𝗵cie. Robert says it is impossible to be logical with a person speaking from his or her subconscious brain. The subconscious brain is not logical. Subconscious brain can't think. It can only react. The problem is when people are speaking via their subconscious brain, they still think they are being logical and intelligent. Now, for example, when I suggest that a business person spend instead of save during a recession, because normally a business owner during a recession, they try to save because they're thinking that it's the end of the world, that the economy is shrinking. That's why we are in a recession. And according to Robert, in most cases, the subconscious brain takes over and begins giving the business person the logical reasons why he or she needs to cut back, he or she needs to lay off employees, he or she needs to go into money saving mode. Remember, the subconscious brain does not think, it reacts. So when recession hits, the subconscious brain takes over and it tries to do this thing: cut back, lay off employees, go into saving mode. To most business people, this is logical and intelligent, right? I would agree too. For most business people. Now, they do not want to learn more, according to Robert. These business people do not want their mind, to learn more. Their mind is made up. The brain is close to new ideas. And if you push the issue to this business-minded people, to this subconscious, the subconscious that's ruling their brain, the mind becomes defensive. Their mind becomes defensive. The walls go up, and instead of fleeing, they want to fight. They want to defend their decision and be right. This is the argumentation with what Robert says is an idiot. Arguing with an idiot. Instead of learning, they become idiots. That's what Robert says, idiots. The problem with arguing with an idiot is that there are too soon two idiots. You, the arguer, and the person you're arguing with. That's very true. There's two people arguing and two of them become idiots. One of the reasons poor people remain poor is because they have a poor person's subconscious mind. Very interesting, huh? One of the reasons poor people remain poor, it is because of our brain, our subconscious mind. Our poor person's subconscious brain. When Robert talked to people who are struggling financially, many will defend their right to be poor. They say such things: I'd rather be happy than rich. I'd rather be happy than rich. I'd rather go on vacation than invest in myself. I'd rather spend that money on now to be happy. than to suffer and extend, extend the your must have, right? So that you can start a business, you can do your self-development. Another thing that, a lot of us say, you have to be crook to be rich. You have to be crook to be rich. And if you argue with them in an attempt to open their minds to new ideas, their subconscious brain often becomes more closed. It becomes more self-righteous. Soon, there are two idiots having a friendly argument. According to Robert, a similar event occurs with many employees and high-paid executives who like their job, but they want to do something else. Instead of doing what they want, their subconscious mind comes up with, again, logical and reasonable reasons why they cannot do what they want to do, what they like to do. When informed about the high taxes they are paying as high-paid employees, they may reply, well, you have to pay taxes. You have to pay taxes. Now, remember, the wealthy, like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, they pay no taxes or very, very little taxes. If pressed and informed about better investments, higher returns, and less in taxes, they may reply, that sounds risky. They close their mind to new possibilities because of fear. So those are my key takeaways from the book of Robert Kiyosaki, Increase Our Financial IQ, Arguing with an Idiot. Let me know in the comment section below what is your one key takeaway. So stay tuned for more of Alka and Ria show.
Ria, you know what? I know it's kind of comical, but it is actually really true. Arguing with illogical people, arguing with an idiot, essentially idiot, quote unquote, because there are some people, and I've come across some people that they argue for no reason. They argue for no reason, and then two hot people, you can get hot-headed, and it becomes so illogical as to what are you trying to say, because there is no point. There is no point. So right, there is no point. And if there's no point, you just don't argue with those people, because you're not going to get anywhere.
I know, it's a dead end. What
It
would
is.
actually what I would do is I would give them the book, gift them the book that hopefully could enlighten their mind. Because like you said, it is pointless to argue. It's like a dead end, right? It's beating around the goes nowhere.
Yeah.
So that's to just respect that we all agree to disagree and let it
and let it be. Exactly. Can you also share with us, you said the wealthy people, you mentioned Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. Can you share with us as to what are the strategies that we can employ to pay less taxes?
Yes, that's true. Warren Buffett even says that he pays less tax compared to his secretary, and these are multi-billionaires. And why that is, they do pay their taxes, right? Their company pays taxes. Now, because business, they're big business, they do get tax refunds. They do get, government incentives to reduce their taxes. So they have income minus the expense, then now they have their net operating expense, because they are solving, the economy's problem, the community's problem. They get those tax breaks. So when they have, a big expense, it gets minus from their net operating income. And when you subtract that net operating income minus those tax deductions, then either they pay less tax or zero tax. So one way for us to reduce our taxes is really to have a business, because as a business owner, you do take risks, a lot of risks, right? You're solving the economy's problem. Now, because you're taking risks, the government is rewarding you. According to my account, my CPA, Certified public accountant, the tax laws, right, in the US, and check with your own country's, tax laws. Every country has different tax laws. The tax laws here in the US is a roadmap. It's a roadmap for each and every individual to actually get to reduce our taxes. So if you follow what your government wants you to do, you will get those tax deductions, those tax incentives. It is only by being a business. If you're an employee, you will not get any single tax deductions. Your employer will get all the tax benefits, the tax deductions. Why? Because they are taking the risk. They are taking those sleepless nights to solve, the community's problem. So one is to be a business.
That's beautiful. Yeah, no, thanks so much for sharing that, Ria, because it's such an important point, like in his book, he's got the 4 quadrants. You're a business owner, you're self-employed, etc., etc. So I think, yeah, so to reduce those the tax breaks, to get the is to exactly the tax breaks. Yeah, you have to have a business. But I think this was such a it's a great point, and I think people need to know. Anytime you're faced with a person that's a left brain or a right brain, analyze, right? Analyze. Okay, who are you talking to? Are you talking to a left brain person, a right brain person? Are you talking to a person who's logical, illogical? Because oftentimes that you can make it out as to who you're talking to.
That's for sure. And if you feel that your arguing is you're always arguing, it's nonstop, and you're not getting to the direction that you want, you don't have to defend your opinion. Just agree that you're disagreeing on this topic or on this matter and move on. What I will do is I will gift them the knowledge, the book of knowledge. In that way, that's the only way that we can enlighten their mind, because they may not know anything about what you're arguing about. So
exactly, yeah, that exactly, just gift it to them, and then they can just enlighten themselves. But I think this was amazing, this was awesome, and I think people need to know more about as to what's happening in the economy. People need to know as to what is happening with the tax. I mean, we are in tax season, and hopefully most of you have filed your taxes, and whether you're a business or you're an employee, but you have to file your taxes. But that's not to say, Ria and I are not saying to not pay taxes. Yes, we all have to pay taxes in the Western world. Unfortunately, that is what we have to do. But there are ways that we can minimize on paying taxes. So follow the rules, get in touch with your in your countries as to what are the tax laws, what do you need to do, follow that so that you are always as to what you need to do, what you're preparing, the documents that you need, that your accountant may need, so that we can help you to really have a really successful life. Thank you, Ria, for sharing with us, and we have come to the end of another amazing show. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, make the rest of the day the best for your day, and we will see you the same time come tomorrow morning. Bye for now.